Hello. In this video, I'm going to quickly go through the steps to setting up a new Cloudflare Pages site. So we're going to host it on Cloudflare, and that will give us access to their backend, which is nice for validating because we need that for our Recaptcha. This is all about getting a Recaptcha going on a form, and Cloudflare can be a nice way to integrate because in addition to just publishing your HTML, it will give you a backend function which is very convenient for validating the Recaptcha token. So let's go through the steps here. First with setting up on Cloudflare in Recaptcha, and then we've got HTML, adding a couple things to our HTML to get this to work, and in the API there's a function we're going to get access to. Okay, so first of all, what you need to do is in Cloudflare, you can go to the sidebar and click on Workers and Pages and click on, well, you want to create a page. So not a worker. Somehow I didn't see the Pages button there. Pages, documentation, Workers and Pages. Ah, here. So click on this tab for Pages and then connect to Git. And I've already done this, but I just want to go through the steps here. So when you choose your repository to connect to, make sure that you have your build output directory set to public. And actually, this is what your directory needs to look like. You need to have a public folder which has index.html inside of it. And you need to have a functions directory with the API and then submit.javascript. And that will be at your top level. So the public one and the functions one are at the top level. Cloudflare documents how to set that up here. And that's important because inside this submit file, we're going to get access to Cloudflare's kind of proprietary on request post function, which gives us this context, which will allow us to get some secret from Cloudflare that we can save in there. In our case, it's going to be our Recaptcha secret key, as well as the request data set from the front end of our application. Okay, so it's a really quite a simple backend if you think about it. This is just your backend. This is our front end. And let's go ahead and do it. So assuming you've set up and linked your page correctly, then when you get inside your page, you should see a domain for it. And you want to grab that domain and go to this Recaptcha. You want to get started with a new Recaptcha solution. So instead of about, there, go to this link here, Recaptcha admin create, and then go ahead and put your same domain from Cloudflare into there. And if you want, you can also put localhost or whatever you're developing with for testing. And then go ahead and submit that to save. And I'm using the Scorebase v3. This is the latest Recaptcha version. And we'll show you how we get that integrated on the front end too. Okay, so on the front end code, inside your index HTML, you're going to need this script from Google Recaptcha, and it's going to have this render equals, which is your site key. So that's not your secret key. And just to show you what I've got here, where is it? Okay, this is the one that I already have. So the site key here, you don't want to use your secret key yet. Go ahead and paste that into this render here. And then there's another code snippet you're going to need, which is this GeoCapture.ready function. And really the most important parts of it are right here. And this execute has a parameter of the same site key. So paste that in. You have an action which you can name based on what you're wanting to happen at this time. I'm dealing with a form, so I'm going to call it submit. This will give us a token, and my form just has a checkbox and a submit button. Show you what my form looks like. So there's the checkbox, and I've got this button that I can click. And inside that form, I don't have any action or on submit for this form, but I did hijack the form and add an event listener for when the form is submitted to prevent the default behavior. And then I want to call this handle submit function, which will generate my Recaptcha token. And with that token, I want to, since my form is a checkbox, I wanted to just add the checkbox value to my data, as well as the Google Recaptcha response. And then I can log that to show that it was on the front end, it was successfully put together. And then this fetch, this post method to the API submit is going to be passing the form data. And then whatever we get back from that, we want to just log that response. So inside the API submit, this is where we're going to need our context. So context from Cloudflare has a couple things we can use. In this case, we have context.request, which will be the form data that we're setting for the front end. We also have context.env, which is the kind of secret key that we're going to save in Cloudflare for this project. So let's talk about that secret key first so we can use that. So in your Cloudflare pages, go to settings for the page that you just created and go to variables and secrets. I've already created mine. I named it Recaptcha secret key, and I just pasted in that value from here. So copy that secret key. This is the only place you're going to need to use it, is put it inside Cloudflare, and then the value is encrypted. So once when you choose the type, you should choose secret. Okay, and then it's not going to be visible again on Cloudflare, but in the back end it will compare and you'll be able to get access to it. Okay, once you've done all that, you should be pretty much good to go with the rest of the on request post logic here. So all that I'm doing is just getting a token from the form objects, which came from my form data from the context request. And if I don't have that token, I want to return with an error. Then I get the secret key from the context env. And if I don't have that key, same thing, I want to have it return as an error. And what are we actually doing here? What's the purpose of all this? Is to check our Recaptcha token that we got on the front end with Google servers, check that it's a valid token for this site key with this secret key. So we're putting in our secret key as a parameter into the URL along with the response and posting that. We're going to get a result which we want to take from the JSON of the response. That result has the format like it's a JSON object, so it's got these fields inside. So success will just be true or false depending on if the call was successful. The score can be a number 0 to 1. 1 would be perfect, 0 would most likely be a bot. They recommend that you um, kind of check your results with a threshold of 0.5. So that's why I added in my code. If the score is less than 0.5, we want to have it return false as a failure. And in the case that it was not successful, so if success was false, we also want it to fail. But in the case that all that was okay, we'd probably be sending the form data somewhere because everything was good. But in our case, we want to just kind of log we're going to send this back to the front end and log the response that we got from, just log that it was okay response, everything was fine, and let's just log our form data. So just to run through this in a real example, I've got it all deployed, and I just want to mention something nice about when you're using functions in Cloudflare. You can go to functions inside really what you want to do is go to your production deployment and click on view details, and then functions, and then begin log stream. And that means whatever console logs you have, or whatever your backend logging is doing, will show up on here, along with a kind of a summary of what you've done. So if I just clear this and check it, send. Okay, so first on the front end, I just logged my checkbox and my Recaptcha token. And then on the back end, I received this success information with the submitted data, which is that same data from the front end. So let's just check our logging quick here. Okay, that's the one I just sent right there. And it gives some more information about the message. So when I logged my response from Recaptcha, it has the score is 0.9, so it's very high score, likely that I'm a human, though can't really tell, can we? And at the bottom, we have the response status is 200. So you could then extend this and do more with it. If you want to send your form data somewhere, you can be reasonably assured that only humans are going to be sending data using your form. Hope this was helpful. Have a good one, and thanks for watching.